Yep, that's it, guys. Make sure you focus on this Mosgiel game coming up. Yeah, I know they're not that big, but they are second on the table, so it's top of the table clash. Got to respect them. Um, Max Caputo, right. You guys just keep training. This might be about international stuff, so I just need to talk to Max. Okay, keep training hard. Don't slake off, even though it's just Mosgiel. Max, how are you, mate? Look, I'm about to announce you in the OFC Nations Cup squad, so don't worry, you're definitely going to still be in there, even though you've been a bit average the first two games for us, okay?
Boss, I'm thinking of declaring myself for Australia.
Why would you do that? Why would you lower your standards to Australia again, mate?
They have a higher reputation, and I feel more connected to the country.
More of a connection. Max, they're on the slide, we're on the rise, we hold the soccer ashes. We're winners. We can actually win trophies, Max. I don't know why you want to go back to Australia. It's like, it's like going for the ugly stepsister or something. Just come on. We've got a good working relationship, Max. You trust me from Auckland. You know that.
That's true. You are one of the best going around.
Yeah, Max. Just have a sleep on it, and you'll come to your senses. Okay?
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Okay, mate. Yeah, just have a think about it, and don't do anything too silly, like do this or jump off a bridge. Okay?
Okay, boss. I'll see you again one way or another.
Yeah, Max. I'm so confident you make the right decision. I'll see you in a couple of days in Wellington for the pre-tournament camp, okay?
Bye.
All right, Max. See you soon. Oh, that's all sorted then. Seriously. Switching to Australia. Who does that?
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 81 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and with Cashmere Technical and Come Up Day. We've got a lot to get for admin wise and also going to take on Mosgiel in a top of the table clash in the Southern League. May not be the longest episode, but there's been a fair bit happen that is noteworthy, so if you're looking forward to that coming up in today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But yesterday we played the OFC Champions League final in 2032, also got past Miramar Rangers in the first round of the Chatham Cup, so if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. As you can see, I've not got through much off the back of that. I thought I'd get through more. Hasn't quite been the case. Haven't even made my way forward to the OFC Nations Cup group phase yet. But there's been a bit happen in those couple of weeks off the back of yesterday's episode. And it starts off with just a filthy piece of work here. I called him the anti-snake back when he switched to us. He's a piece of schmidt. He is, seriously, Max Caputo, I gave you everything. You had one cap for Australia before the 2026 World Cup. 5 years of not being picked for them. We selected you for big games against Ukraine and Cameroon. You didn't play that well, so to be fair, you probably deserve to be Australian. He's declared for Australia after 2 games for New Zealand, so he can go stuff himself. Max Caputo, you're dead to me. Be fair, he's at AFC Auckland, and as you'll see shortly, they're not doing too well either, so he might be dead in terms of his professional football career. So he's got no caps for Australia. He had 1 cap and 1 goal before the switch to New Zealand, where he didn't do too much in 2 games. But Max Caputo, you absolute filthy snake, you piece of schmidt, you are an absolute traitor. Good riddance. I never want to see you in my life again. I'm even going to change a nickname on here. Let's set a nickname. Dead to me. There we go. Hopefully I get rid of the keyboard effect there, but he's now dead to me. Number 6 from AFC Auckland, Max Caputo, aka dead to me. So that's the first bit of news off the back of yesterday's episode. Never trust an Australian. Just never. Never ever trust an Australian people. Just, it'll break your heart. Seriously. Just, although even he is dead to me, thankfully he didn't actually score a goal in those 2 games, so thankfully he didn't make a song about him that would have made things a lot more awkward. But going forward now to before this Mosgiel game, first up a little bit of an All Whites update going into the upcoming OFC Nations Cup, because we have selected our squad. A couple of players suspended for the first game, but as I said, this is going to be pretty easy for us against teams like New Caledonia and whatnot. We should breeze through this, no point showing you guys this, but a few new call-ups to the team, a couple of injuries, Josh Pickering out. It does mean Jacob Hall-Jones is a backup at left wing. Jay Herdman's back. because of He's Dead to Me, and also Chris Jones, better right winger than Ben Old. Now, he bought this guy up a couple of weeks ago now, when he was playing for Waterside Karori. Unfortunately, we did put a bid in for him. He chose the Melbourne Victory, which, to be fair, probably a better career move, and these days is a better right wing option than Ben Olden, to be fair. Also a striker with a fair bit of promise, obviously, these days with 34 appearances and 15 goals for the Victory. So Chris Jones, the backup right winger these days, in behind Justin Keats. That's a change. He might need a song, seeing as he's playing as an inside forward sooner rather than later, especially in a competition like the OFC Nations Cup. Also, Ole McGoldrick, he stays in there because there's an injury to Lucas Kelly-Hill, but apart from that, pretty close to full strength for this upcoming OFC Nations Cup. Probably going to give some of these fringe players a bit of game time in this one, seeing as we're playing some very lowly ranked teams, we should be breezing our way through that. So those are the All Whites updates off the back of yesterday's episode, going into the OFC Nations Cup, which, as I said, we should be winning pretty comfortably, but we've also got a pretty big update in terms of Cashmere Technical. We'll try and find the inbox item for you guys just to prove it. And I don't know why I thought that would be so difficult, because it's literally just about 6 down there. On the left-hand side, the club's financial situation deteriorating means our wage budget has been reduced from 39k to 32.5k. Now, to be fair, that's not that much, but you go over to the scouting centre and we're now 6k over, and I've slid a fair bit of transfer budget that we did have from the sale of Christian Benitez over into the wage budget, because he's now left on this day before this Mosgiel game, and we're still over by quite a bit. So because of that, I think we might now have to go through the process of selling some of our big earners here at Cashmere Technical and just showing you who they might be. There's interest in David Costarella, our starting goalkeeper these days here at Cashmere Tech, because he's on 3.7k a week. Riley Rogers, 3.6k a week. He's still injured off the back of the last couple of episodes, and to be fair, we're doing quite well without him, so I think he's someone we might be able to let go of. Also, David Pedrobissi is a pretty high earner on 2.7k a week, and we've got depth there with Louis Enrique and still Cullen Elliott at the club. We could let go of Ole McGoldrick, but he's captain, and Xavier Smith's a decent left back. But if the interest is quite good in him from Central Coast, maybe we also let go of him, and then Mateus can start as an under-20 player. But I think during the course of today's episode, off the back of the Mosgiel game, we might try and get rid of some of these big earners over that 2k mark, just to balance the books here at Cashmere Technical, especially because Pedrobissi is wanted among clubs by the Wellington Phoenix. That would be a really good move if we're going to sell someone to a fellow New Zealand team, and one that is in the A-League. And before we do play this game against Mosgiel, a quick A-League update, because it has been a while since we've checked on our former club in AFC Auckland and also how the Phoenix have been getting on. We'll start off with our rivals from AFC Auckland in the Wellington Phoenix. They've actually been doing consistently quite well, with Chiefy still in charge, as you'd expect considering how he's doing in real life. They finished second this season when their media prediction was first. Unfortunately, a draw on the final day of the season did mean they lost out on the title. I believe it was to Melbourne City. We'll check on that shortly, because I don't want to spoil what's happened with the other side of things in New Zealand in the A-League. But the Phoenix, they've been doing quite well in terms of the A-League of late. They finished third the season before second. They haven't quite picked up a title yet, but they are going quite close and are up there most seasons, still developing some very good youngsters, as you've seen the last couple of years with the All Whites. But switching to AFC Auckland, and this is where things get considerably worse these days. David Muta from Papua New Guinea is their manager. He hasn't been there for very long. They've had a very bad season, AFC Auckland. So bad, if we look at the A-League table, they finished 15th. They're going down to the second division. So I don't know why AFC Auckland didn't try and ask us to come back there, because no doubt we could have saved them from relegation. But they are no longer going to be in the top division in Australian football. They will be a second tier team. So it does mean just the Phoenix in the A-League for next season. Hopefully that doesn't impact things too negatively in the save. It does look like Auckland actually are still producing some decent players. Dino Illich is the hot prospect there at 15 years old with 3-star potential, albeit that is for us at Cashmere Technical, so I guess that's probably not too high on the national team scale of things. But yeah, that's disappointing. AFC Auckland have gone off the boil since we have left, and also their previous manager, who did win a couple of titles in Lindsay Van Mullenbroek, He left at the end of 2031. That was because he went to join the Western Sydney Wanderers. He actually kind of, I guess, upgraded. Maybe he knew what was coming, because Western Sydney Wanderers obviously did a lot better than AFC Auckland this season. Jordan Shaw, he was the one who really got them in trouble. Let's find out what he was about. He was formerly the manager of Cambridge, and they play in the second division of the NRFL. That's a really weird appointment, that one from AFC Auckland. That's what I'm trying to figure out why they didn't ask me to go back there, but they decided to hire someone out of the second tier of New Zealand football, and they've been relegated. So he is a dreadful manager, and he stuffed up our two New Zealand teams in the A-League in the save. So as I said, a bit of interesting admin before we get stuck into the one game. In today's episode, Auckland are in the mud, Caputo's an absolute piece of schmidt, and also our wage budget's been reduced at Cashmere, so we're probably going to need to sell some players. But now it's time to play the game. In today's episode, it's the only really interesting one we've got for a long time here in the save, especially with a winter break coming up. So that's not going to help things out too much either. But we're going to take on Mosgiel and what is currently a top of the table clash in the Southern League, albeit second to fourth and also fifth. Very close. That could change quite considerably if we do beat them, as they should. But Mosgiel, I'm pretty sure, got promoted from the second tier here in the South Island. Last season, they've been in pretty good form. Just the two losses so far this season. Must have come right at the start of the season too, away at Christchurch United and Otago Uni. Since then, they've picked up 2 wins over Ferry Mead Bays, albeit one of those was in the Chatham Cup. They've also beat Nelson Suburbs and those two teams that they did lose to at the start of the season. So they come to this one in some pretty good form, but you'd imagine this should be a team we can beat pretty nicely, having just made their way up from the second division here in the South Island, which traditionally is a bit weaker than the North Island. This should be a game we can win, especially as it is at the GMP. Injury-wise, these days, just Riley Rogers, who is out Mediolo, is back. We're going to play things safe and reintroduce him from the bench after he got injured in that Christchurch United game off the back of the Champions League final in yesterday's episode. But there should be a win for us to make sure that we're going to be on top of the table and probably lifting the Southern League yet again in 2032. We'll come back shortly, and hopefully there'll be another win for us at the GMP as we take on Mosgiel. And here are the team sheets for this top of the table clash in the Southern League as we take on Mosgiel. A couple of changes to our usual best 11 here at Cashmere. We've got Rodriguez out right with Rogers injured. Also Young over Janssen, who's quite injury prone at the moment. And as well as that Al Ghazali up top with Mediolo on the bench coming back from that injury. There with Mosgiel. Hopefully a win here gives us a nice gap on top of the Southern League. And it hasn't taken long at all here for the first highlight of this game. Only 1 minute and it's a free kick here in our favour. Looking for someone near far post. Unfortunately, can't quite pick them out, but Al Ghazali tracks back nicely. It does our striker to get that ball back for us. Now Victor Ross on the ball, plays it back there to the all-white and Louis Evans. Now Rodriguez getting some game time at right wing. To be fair, that might become regular if we do let go of Riley Rogers and we try and keep the ball here down this right-hand side. Evans is under pressure, but does find there Sam Clark before it goes back to Louis Evans, the former Perth Glory man. Plays a nice ball over the top there for Kevin Maynard. Good chance there, tight angle, but unfortunately that one goes straight into the hands of Proctor in goal for Mosgiel. Massive part of Dunedin, that is. Sort of, but they are on the ball now with a highlight only a few minutes later. Good work there from Pedro Bissi in what might be one of his last games for Cashmere Technical with that wage he's on. Hopefully he will go to the Wellington Phoenix, but yet again going to try and do something here, it looks like, down our right-hand side as Rodriguez plays that one back to Victor Ross. It goes back forward to Rodriguez. Those two do seem to like to link up because that's back to Victor Ross, now forward to Rodriguez, and now Pedro Bissi has that wing back on attack. Starts to go forward, picks out Rodriguez. Young plays the ball in there, looking for Mina. Lets it roll through there to Xavier Smith. Squares that one nicely. And Jamie Young will pick up his 6th goal of the season. And it's an early lead for us here at the GMP against Mosgiel. And hopefully going to be on our way here to yet another convincing win. Our form around that Champions League final has actually been pretty good this season. Since we got past Auckland City in the semis, we've been on a pretty good roll. Yet to lose a game this season, which is very nice indeed. Hopefully it's going to mean it's a good time to get rid of some of those high earners like we might have to with those wage issues, albeit might be a chance here for Mosgiel to respond a few minutes later, but thankfully good work there. I think that was from Rodriguez down that right-hand side yet again, and we are back on the ball. Rodriguez, poor idea to pass that one, but thankfully Pedro Bissi will get that one back for us. we played infield to Ollie McGoldrick, who should make his all-whites debut in that upcoming OFC Nations Cup with squad rotation, 3 games in the space of around 5 days. And now we're going to try and do something here down our left-hand side. Mina just burns his man there down that left-hand side, and he'll pick up his 7th goal of the season. Sam Clark will get the assist, and that's a quick-fire double to make it 2-0. And Mosgiel might not be proving too stern opposition for us here at Cashmere Technical. I think the Southern League these days is not too competitive. We are starting to make this look a little bit easy in the South Island. 2-0 up inside the 10-minute mark. Albeit there's been a little bit of a break since the last highlight in this game now, but we eventually get another one at the 25-minute mark, and Mosgiel, they are on the ball. They probably need to strike soon, otherwise they might be in for a tough time here in Christchurch. And good work there from Al Ghazali to win that one. Clark had the ball, it falls back to Mina. It's a really nice finish, that one, with his left foot into the right corner. That makes it 3-0, and that might already be game over, especially with still 65 minutes left. We could put these guys to the sword and really hurt their ambitions to make their way into the championship phase of the National League. As you saw, that Southern League, and behind us is quite tight. But 3-0 lead, that will only become more so the case with a lot of teams likely to end up on the same amount of points off the back of this match. We go off the back of that shortly. There is a corner. Proctor gets a touch on that. Al Ghazali tries to put that one into the back of the net, but good work there from the defender, I think that was, from Mosgiel. Clear that one off the line, so a good chance there off the back of a bit of a mess up from Proctor in goal for Mosgiel. Al Ghazali nearly makes the most of it. Again, he punches it clear, but this time I don't think Al Ghazali's going to try the shot. Indeed, that's the case. 3-0 in front at the half-hour mark. And 5 minutes off the back of that previous highlight, we continue to put the pressure here on Mosgiel from set piece. Victoros this time with a header as per usual, but that time it comes off the crossbar, and we continue to be set piece FC here. Now it's a free kick, which we put into the mix, and Miller will clear that one, but good work there from Evans, the only man back for us from set pieces. To be fair, he should be dealing with that pretty safely. International quality, and he had no pressure on him, but thankfully he does find a teammate, and now we solidify things at the back with a 3-0 lead. Let's see if we can build on this before half-time. Pedro Bissi finds himself in space down the right-hand side. Good chance there for Jamie Young, but unfortunately puts that one wide. Still at 3-0.
Yeah.
And he might be a dampener on this one, because unfortunately Mohamed Al Ghazali is going to be forced from the field with an injury. So Medilo, coming back from one, will make his way onto the field for the second half of this game. Albeit before we get to that, there is a corner. We try and put that one into the mix, so they hit it away, but Young is there to tidy things up. But we'll see how serious that injury is to Mohamed Al Ghazali. But thankfully, decent break off the back of this with the OFC Nations Cup starting. So it should give the likes of Medilo some time to recover and get fit enough for a full game of football. And also, he's really only playing one half here with how close he did come on prior to halftime. But we now switch things out to our left-hand side. Xavier Smith puts the ball here into the mixer. He picks out Young, or at least tries to. He gets brought down there. I think that was by the defender, not by the goalkeeper. Mina here with a chance from the penalty spot, left foot, and puts that one away. And I'm pretty sure that's a hat-trick for him. Indeed it is. First half hat-trick for Kevin Mina. That is why we kept him and not Christian Reid. He's also under 20 player. Need those here in the New Zealand National League, but that will make it 4-0 at halftime. I'm very happy with how this one is going so far. Mosgiel have done absolutely nothing. We've been all over them. Hopefully that continues in the second half as we have a 4-0 lead. And we have to wait until the hour mark for the first highlight here of the second half. We won't praise the boys just yet. We'll see what happens from this highlight, which does start with a goal kick in our favour. We play the ball out again to our right-hand side, which so far we've been trying to take advantage of here in this game. Unfortunately, lose the ball there. It might be a chance here for Mosgiel, and Forte gets in behind. Big chance and forces a save there out of Costarella, another player out of Italy, who might be playing his last game here for Cashmere Tech because of the money issues, but we'll see what happens from the subsequent corner. Thankfully, Pedro Bissi is there to tidy things up for us yet again. So we do have that danger, still 4-0, but Mosgiel are getting a few highlights now in the second half. I say a few, one, but now we're down the other end here for a free kick. Let's see who's going to take this one. It's a left footer. Just waiting here to see who it might be. It is Mina, who's looking now for his fourth goal. We'll try and put this one top right corner. It comes off the post, but falls very kindly to Sam Clark. He's at least got one assist in this game. Now he picks up a goal, does one of our other under 20 players here at Cashmere Tech, and we are all over Mosgiel in this top of the table clash, but unlucky for them that one. But Clark makes it 5-0. In fact, before I wrap things up, there's a highlight here from the restarts. There might even be a chance for us here to make this 6, and that would start to get embarrassing for Mosgiel, albeit we are scoring lots of goals in our recent games. But Kingston makes his way there down the right-hand side. Mosgiel are on the ball a bit there, and a good chance for Marco Antonio, but thankfully that shot just goes wide, and we're still 5-0 in front, trying to keep a clean sheet here, albeit that's probably worse for us financially than if we do concede one. So we probably do want to actually concede one here. Mosgiel hopefully might score a goal, just help us out financially late in this game. I don't know if we really want to tell the guys to concede too much, but, you know, money for the club and all that. Don't want to pay you guys too much, but we'll see what Mosgiel do here as they are yet again on the attack and forward with a very weak shot. In fact, it's 14 not forward. But there you go, the clean sheet bonuses. Happy days for a broke club like us here at Cashmere Tech. We'll still praise the boys because I'm actually quite happy with that going in the back of the net with the money situation. Bit of a soft goal concede, honestly. Forte first time finish wasn't the most powerful, but somehow makes its way past Costarella, and they grab a goal back to make it 5-1. And we've just made our way into the last 10 minutes of this game, and there is a highlight here which might potentially be in our favour as we try and make our way out from the back. McGoldrick on the ball, plays that forward to Clark, and now it's Young. That ball's a bit off the mark, but Mina recovers well to get that one for us. Now sizes man up there down the left-hand side. Young, surely that won't be a penalty, but Manilo's there to tidy things up and sweeps that home into the bottom right corner. He gets a goal on his return from injury, which thankfully only kept him out for about 2 Southern League games. That makes it 6-1, and we are definitely beating Mosgiel here at the GMP, and also I think we're definitely winning the Southern League yet again, as you'd imagine, for the team who are the champions of Oceania 3 seasons in a row. Still yet to see if that's going to take us to the Club World Cup next year, or if for some reason this time around the 2033 Champions League is the one that we do need to win. But that was a very comfy win, and we also conceded, which was actually quite useful with the monetary situation. Might be the last game for some of those players, as I mentioned, who we were talking about letting go of going into that game. We might come back actually and see what the transfer bids do look like for them and where they might be headed, especially if teams like the Phoenix do come in for some of them. But that is a very convincing win in that top of the table clash. We'll just go forward and see what that does to the Southern League table. Not too sure yet about that Al Ghazali injury. In fact, we might check on that before we go forward a little bit. But that means we're now 6 points clear ahead of Nelson Suburbs in second. But to be fair, Mosgiel and Christchurch United also on 15 points. So a good race there for second in the Southern League, but we're well clear at the halfway point of the Southern League season. And before we go forward and just check in on where those players might be going, who we are going to try and let go of to sort out that monetary problem here at Cashmere Tech, a quick update on Al Ghazali. He's out for 5 to 8 weeks with a twisted ankle. To be fair, we've still got Milo and also Michael James Gilbert, who's floating around the reserves, and also sometimes in the first team, so we can deal with the absence of Al Ghazali. Hopefully, though, that won't prove too costly, especially with an international window coming up with the All Whites. But a good win for us there in that top of the table clash. And to wrap things up for today's episode, I think we're going to let you guys in on some transfer business here, seeing as we only played the one game in the episode, but there has been a fair bit of news happening with both the All Whites and Cashmere Tech, and hopefully getting released free players might sort out that wage budget quite nicely. First up, Riley Rogers. Adelaide United are after him now. His transfer value is between 35 to 55k, so I think we should be able to get that fee up to 55k, and also might be a bit cheeky here and at a percentage of next sale of 20%, and they accept that. So I think Riley Rogers might be on his way back to Australia. Unfortunately, that's the case, because he would be quite useful as a future All White, albeit can't trust Australians anymore after he's dead to me. Did that to us about a week ago in game. Also Costarella, lots of bids for him. To be fair, I think we just accept the highest valued one here, and that is Spell, so he can go there. We'll see if these other clubs do decide to bid higher and to match that deal, but also might just try and offer him out for 55k as well, seeing as that's the higher end of his transfer value. So we'll try and do that, just bump that up a little bit. Just realised probably would have been quicker there to go down from 60 instead of up from 40, but we'll see if we can do that, and also try and include another cheeky bit of percentage of next sale. So let's see what happens there to David Costarella. Of course, we do still have the likes of Nicholas Thomas, Josh Hawkins, and Mark Anderson here as goalkeeping options. And going up to Pedro Bissi, lots of bids for him. I'm only going to accept one of them though. That's from the Wellington Phoenix, because that is a New Zealand team. You can go there. Definitely not going to go to Melbourne City, and ideally we'd keep you in New Zealand. All these teams, to be fair, some good Serie A teams in amongst that, or at least credible ones there in Sassuolo, Genoa, Sampdoria amongst them. So some decent teams there are after our right back, but hopefully we can send them off to the Wellington Phoenix. We'll see what happens when we come back for tomorrow's episode in terms of those transfers off the back of the group stages of the OFC Nations Cup. If you enjoyed that episode with a bit going on news-wise, as well as that top of the table clash there in the Southern League against Mosgiel, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also consider hitting that subscribe button and turning that notification bell on as well. Tomorrow, as I said, we'll come back. Might be without a few players there that we are trying to get rid of just to sort out that wage issue. And in terms of the games that we'll come back for, still not too sure, because we've still got about 3 months in between the game we've just played and the end of the Southern League season. So I think it just depends how busy I'm at work and how much FM I do get done. Also, might potentially be able to play the finals of the OFC Nations Cup. So to be fair, yet again, don't really know what we're coming back for in tomorrow's episode. We might be able to do a bus trip if we take on someone like Nomads or Mosgiel, but to be fair, that is still a little way away. But we'll come back tomorrow, play some games, and do an update on life here at Cashmere, and also on the OFC Nations Cup with the Whites. But that should be pretty routine considering our ranking and who we're playing. So until tomorrow, for some FM Builder Nation stuff, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.